Welcome back to our Beatrice YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful twisted collar neckline. The neckline is twisted, as you can see, and it's really beautiful and simple. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. I'm going to start by drafting the back. You can see this is just a normal back bodice. This is my zipper allowance. My shoulder is 8 inches. As you can see, so for my neckline I measured 3 inches by 1 inch for the back neckline. You can do this directly on your fabric, but because I'm working with a white fabric, I don't want to mark anything on the fabric. I'm drafting on a paper. So this is just a regular back bodice. This is my armhole, this is the armhole line, this is the waistline, and this is my full blouse length. Okay, so now after this we'll just move straight to the front. So for the front is going to have a collar. Okay, it's like a twisted collar dress. The front is going to have a collar that will extend to the back. So like I said, the collar is going to be extended to the back, from the front to the back, just like you draft your normal short collar. They are going to extend it to the back. So to know the amount of allowance that you will need for the collar, you just need to measure what you have on your back neckline. Okay, remember this is my back neckline already. So from here I'm marking what I have there, and here I have about 4.5 inches. Okay, so I have about 4.5 inches after taking this measurement. So after I'm taking that measurement, I'm going to measure what I have left on my shoulder. Okay, so this is 5 inches. So that's, I need this one for the front. By the time we draft the front, we'll understand it. So I'll just add this 5 plus this 4.5, and that's going to leave me with 9.5 inches. So the 9.5 inches is what I'm going to use for allowance for the collar. So before you start taking your measurements, I'm going to mark that 9.5 inches first, and then after marking that, I'll start taking my measurements, my actual measurements from there. So this is the 9.5 inches. All of this is the allowance for our collar. So what I'm going to do now is to mark 2 inches from here, from this center here. Okay, from the center front here, I'll mark 2 inches inwards. Then after marking the 2 inches inwards, I'll go ahead and connect that to my tip to the allowance in the like a slanted shape like this. Okay, so now we are connecting for our collar. So depending on how wide you want the collar to be, it's going to be folded into 2. So now if you want it to be around 6 inches, around 3 inches, you mark 6 inches, so that by the time you fold into 2, but be mindful that you are still going to sew it. So if you want 6 inches, you can still leave it at 7 inches, so that by the time you fold it, you have 3.5 inches, and by the time you sew, you'll be left with your 3 inches. So for that, I'm going to mark 7 inches here from where this stop. Okay, sorry, I realized the marker and my camera is not showing well. So what I have done here is to mark my collar, which I want to be 7 inches. So you can see I marked the 7 inches from these 2 inches that I marked originally, and then I marked that 7 inches from the upper part as well and connected it. So the entire width of my collar is 7 inches. By the time I put it on fold, I'll have 3.5 inches, and by the time I sew with 1/2 inch, I'll be left with 3 inches, which is fine for me. So this is my starting point. Remember, all of this is for the collar. So from there now, I'll start taking my front measurements. So for my armhole line is 8.5 inches, my waistline is 15, and the total blouse length, just like I have for the back as well, is 24.5. So I'll mark all of that now and then make them into a straight line. So to make it easy, so that we'll not get confused, I'm going to take my side measurements. Remember, this is the armhole line, this is the waistline, and this is the blouse length. So here I'm going to take my bust measurement. The bust is 42, divided by 4 is 10.5. So here I'm taking 10.5, and then I'll add 1 inch for my seam allowance. So for my waist, the waist is 8.5 inches. After dividing it Okay, I'm adding half an inch for ease, so I'm marking it at 9, and then I'll add 1 inch seam allowance. And then for my blouse length, my hip is 44, divided by 4 is 11 here, and then I'm going to add 1 inch allowance to that as well. You can make it as free as you want, but I have the zipper for mine at the back, so I don't want it so free. I just want it to be comfortable enough. So now I'm connecting for the side, so you can see now that our side seam is connected. We are only left with the handhole area. So for that, like I explained earlier, I'm going to check what I have for my back shoulder. This is my back shoulder, which is 5 inches. So here, from where my collar line stops, I'm going to mark the 5 inches that I have on my back shoulder. So this is not up to 5, so I'm just going to extend it to make up the 5 inches that I want. Okay, so now I have 5 inches. So now from where that 5 inches stop, I'm going to mark my shoulder. So now instead of the shoulder to be on this line, my shoulder will shift just like this. This is because by the time, just like we cut our cow neckline, remember when you're cutting your cow neckline and then you do your slash and spread, by the time you spread it, the shoulder will shift. So by the time you bring everything back together, it's still going to be on the line that it's supposed to be. So by the time we twist this and sew it to the front, this shoulder will shift back. So tentatively, this is where our shoulder is. Okay, so this is my shoulder. So for the armhole, what I'm going to do now is just to connect with this little that I have. So by the time I finish sewing it, I can retrace my armhole line back. So what I'm doing here now is just to use my cut ruler to form like a small armhole there. So you can see this is my armhole line, this is my shoulder, and I'm going to be sewing the collar from here all the way to the back neckline, which was why I calculated it like this. So here now I have 5 inches. So from the 5 inches, I'm going to sew to the back collar as well, which was the 9.5 inches that I used. I hope you understand that. So this is how we need to do. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut this out and then cut on my fabric. So I've gone to cut it now. So for those that may not know how to cut, you just cut along your lines. You can see this is my shoulder now. I just deepened my armhole a little bit, so you can see this is the shoulder. I cut like this and then cut my side seam as well as the collar, and then on this side as well, remember we went in by 2 inches. I just cut this out. So this is what my pattern looks like. This is the front and this is the back. So for the back now, I can easily cut out my neckline and my shoulder slant. Then I'll go ahead and cut it on my fabric. You are going to show your shoulder together, so it has to match. Okay, this is the shoulder for the front and back, so you can see what we have there. It has to match, and by the time you shift it, this shoulder is going to be on your starting point as well. So I'll cut this now and bring it back to show us what we have. I have cut my pattern on the fabric. You can see this is the blouse, then the waist, the armhole, this is my collar, this is the shoulder. Okay, so this is what I have. So now I'm going to detach my pins, and this is the back as well. So the back is cut, so I'm going to detach my pins so that I can work with the fabric. So I forgot to mention that when you are cutting the front, this center front part, it has to be cut on fold. Okay, please don't forget that you have to cut the center part of the front on fold, so that by the time you open it up like this, you can see that everything is together. So this is our shoulder. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. Now we are going to be working on the collar. For the collar, the 7 inches collar, remember I said we're going to be folding it. So now you're going to fold it this way. You can see this is the first collar. We are going to fold the first collar first before we fold the second one. So this arc, this angled points where you have here, you are going to fold with what you have on this part, just like this. Okay, and I'm going to hold it with a pin tentatively. So here I'm folding it and I'm holding. So you are going to fold towards the upper part like this. You match them together and then you fold it. So after folding this part, we'll go ahead and fold the second one. And if you notice, I'm folding towards, this is my right side still showing. You can see the shiny part of the fabric is still free, so I'm folding on the right side. You can see that it matches here. So I'm folding on the right side, and this is what it looks like after folding. So now we'll have about 3.5 inches. So you go ahead and do the same thing on the second one. I'm going to fold it again into 2. So that point where you used your pin to hold, we'll take it to the sewing machine and then we'll sew on it. So this is the second collar as well, and then I've gone ahead to do the same thing. I've gone ahead to fold the second collar. So this is what it looks like. You can see now that the collar is smaller. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now and run a stitch on this fold to hold them together. I have gone ahead to sew it, and this is what it looks like now. So the next thing now is to twist the neckline and sew it around the front and back neck. So to do that, I need my front and back together. So now I'm going to bring the back, and you look for the right one that matches. Okay, so this is the right side and this is the left side. So I'll go ahead and join the shoulder of the front and back together. So the shoulder is joined together now, you can see. So clearly you can see the part that the collar is going to go. So this is the back neckline, this is the front neckline, this is for the other side as well. So it's a twisted collar, like I said. So what you're going to do now is to twist them over each other like this, making sure that this point and this point intersect. So that's the point where we stopped sewing, which is here and here. So this is what I'm doing. Just watch carefully. You just twist them against each other just like this, and once they match here, you take this one, you pin to this neckline, and then this other one as well, you go ahead and pin it to the other neckline. It's that simple. So I'll just take my pin and start pinning them now. So once you pin it, all you just need to do is to go to your sewing machine and sew along the lines that you have pinned. So after pinning this side, I'll go ahead and pin the other side as well. So this side is pinned. You can see the pinning is from the front to the back neckline. So we'll do the same thing for this other side as well. We're going to pin from the front here to the back, just like this. So you can see that I have pinned this other one as well. So it is fully pinned now. You can notch it at that hack area so that it can make it easier for you. So after pinning it, this is what it looks like on the right side. You can see the twist that we have there, and you can see the collar moves from the front to the back, just like that. So I would go ahead now and sew it on the sewing machine. So I have sewn it now. You can just go ahead and weave this part so that it can be neat. So the next thing to do now is to take your side seam, and then you go ahead and sew them together. So you can see that the side seam matches as well. So after sewing my side seam, I'm going to trim my armhole to whatever I want it to be. Okay, so the side seam is joined now. This is the first side and this is the second side. So all you just need to do now is to reshape the armhole. Remember, this armhole that we created for the front was really small. It's just a small circle. Okay, you can see it's very different from what we have at the back, which was this. So what I'm going to do now is to try to reconcile them. So what I will do now is to just broaden it. You can see this is just what I have for the front armhole. So now I'm going to try to broaden what I have there so that I can match up with what I have coming from the back. So I'm shaping the front armhole alone now, not the back. Then you check it. If it's not enough, I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit deeper so that I can have what I need. So after that, if you still wish to shape your back armhole, you can now bring them together and then shape them. So you can see now, that I have them on the same level now. So at this point, if you want to reshape the back armhole too, you can just go ahead with your scissors and then reshape. It is as simple as that. So you do the same thing for the other side as well. have done for this side, and I have them on the same level. You can see now that my armhole looks normal. So what you just need to do now is to go ahead and fix whatever sleeve of your choice, and then you fix a zipper to the back as well, and your blouse is ready. So I'll do all of this now and take it to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the neckline looks like. You can see how beautiful it is. I have gone ahead to fix a bishop sleeve on it. You can fix any sleeve of your choice, and this is what it looks like. I used about 2 yards of satin fabric for this. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.